Hey guys, we're back with another episode of Real Talk with Cody and Joe.
Howdy.
We didn't miss last week. We were there. We missed a podcast last week. We got
Yeah.
some sickness in families that kind of
Yes.
prevented
That's
all
right.
that and timing and things like that. So,
Yeah.
but we're
And it's
back with
back.
we're
It
back
is
with
back
this.
in our house.
We've been back. We've been pretty good with this one. We're gonna
Yeah.
probably with our podcast. I was gonna talk to you about it, but now we can. Is we're going to have the holiday season coming up. So we may miss, we may not do a couple as we're all doing
Yeah.
different things for holidays, but we are going to shoot for one this week. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Another
Yeah.
thing for the new
We'll
year.
probably just do live stuff like during our Christmas.
Yeah. Like maybe opening our stuff. Like we'll just get,
Yeah.
a lot of like the influencer agents will do those like what my day looks like. And let's do
Oh,
that
yeah.
on Christmas. Like
Christmas
we'll
Day.
film us
Yeah.
getting up and everything and just let people invite people into our lives.
Yelling at our kids and like, no, I'm not ready yet.
Oh man. Yeah, maybe we do that. Maybe we
Yeah.
just do and just let people enjoy that. It's just a live
Absolutely.
stream the whole day. So probably get the most views we've ever had if we do that.
Right.
Speaking of, not even speaking of, but I kind of think I want to change the background of my recording for the new year. So if anyone has any
Oh.
suggestions or anything that they
Yeah.
want differently than this, I'd love to hear the comments. Like I like your darkness. I like the dark behind it.
Thank
Not
you.
your darkness in and of itself, but the darkness behind you. That's like the
Yes.
trendy thing. And I don't know, like, should I stay against the trend and just stay with my light and bright or not? So I'm taking suggestions.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to where this space was already created by somebody that was doing video stuff.
Oh, boom.
They were somebody that didn't even work in our office, and it was a friend of ours, let him just use the space.
Yeah.
So he did it all. So I didn't really have to do anything. I just kind of put a couple lights up and
Yeah.
put some things on there. But yeah, I mean, I do think there is something that's nice about the contrast of the dark.
Yeah.
And then the person kind of pops a little bit more.
I kind of like it in the new year, maybe I just do one of those like background, like the black dark background with some lights and stuff. I kind of always wanted, maybe you can get me this for Christmas, is I wanted a like one of the bar lights of like Skipper Realty Group, like the lion.
Yeah.
Like
LED,
the LED or
one.
neon lights, like that would be really cool.
Would you want it to be your like the logo, like the lion?
I think so, right? Like
Yeah.
I think the lion would look good. I could put
That'd be pretty
SRG or
sweet.
something like that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think
What
the lion
color
would
would
be
you
cool.
go with? Do you have a color theme?
Well, it'd be nice to have like different be able to change, but I don't think those bar ones can do it. But maybe the new technology ones that can do it. So
yeah, they might be able to do
anyways,
like LED strip ones where they have the different multicolor.
Well, this is our quick Christmas request. So if anyone's listening and that's what you want to do for me as a client or friend or anything like that, just get me that.
Just make it happen.
Just redesign my studio. That would be great. It's a simple fix. So
do we have any interior designers out there that listen?
Yes. Well, the feds. Okay, so the feds are talking, and this was kind of a shock. We had talked about this a little bit before, but they're talking about dropping the rates. And during the time of this, we don't know, but maybe we will. So we're going to assume, let's just assume the rates got cut. You guys always say that you factor in the rates. The mortgage rates kind of like proactively factor in what the feds are going to do. Because this was kind of a shock, have your lenders or have your institutions been factoring in a potential rate cut for this month or not? And are we going to see, what will that be like if not?
Yeah. So normally the market tends to price it in. So if there's rumors or, really heavy speculation that they're going to drop, usually like a couple weeks, maybe a month, but a couple weeks usually leading up to that, we'll see our big change that happens. That essentially, Fed typically tends to move in 0.25%. So the long-term rates, which are not what the Fed adjusts. The Fed adjusts the short-term rates, but the long-term rates tend to follow suit. So usually what we see is like over the course of a couple weeks, we'll see the mortgage rates improve by, ballpark 0.25%. This last month, even though it was probably 2 weeks ago, there became this growing speculation that they are going to adjust now. Because there was a time there where we were starting to hit.
Happen.
It
right?
wasn't going to happen,
Yeah.
right? And because there was no economic data that was coming out because of the government shutdown, and then there was some information that was released from ADP and some employment numbers that were not looking great. But right after the last Fed drop, mortgage rates have just gone up. And then this information came out, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or shortly after the government shutdown. And then the rates started to improve again, but then they've just started to creep up. And it's been kind of weird because as the growing speculation that they were going to drop again, we didn't see anything in that with the market for the long-term mortgage rate.
Hmm.
So like right now, I'd have to look, but I want to say the average when I looked yesterday was almost back up to 6.4. Whereas, like a month ago, we got down to 6.19,
Yeah.
and rates have just, the Fed rate, the short-term rates have just continued to go down, and inflation seems to be more in line. Employment numbers are getting worse, which tends to help rates. So it's been kind of a weird month where we're just waiting, like where is this improvement that we're supposed to be seeing?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, long-winded, no, we have not seen any improvement, even with the Fed dropping rates even more. There still has just been there's something about the long-term market, the 10-year Treasury, which is kind of one of the big market movers for. You can usually tell where rates are going if you look at the 10-year, and it's just been kind of progressively getting worse. I will say that the, um, Japan's economy Japan's market started to go like high inflation. They started to crank up their rates. And Japan is one of, if not the largest country of purchasers of the US 10-year note, which tells us, there's this big panic and a big adjustment thinking that Japan's going to start pulling out of the US treasuries market,
Yeah.
which when money goes out, that's usually when rates go up. If there's lots of investments that go into that market, that's what ends up bringing the rates down. So there was a lot of like speculation and fear around that. So I think that's kind of what it initially spiked it for us, and then it just hasn't calmed down since then.
Well,
Kind of
I'm trying to
weird.
think of like, do you think is there, okay, this is a dumb question, but is
I
there
love it.
generally it's generally a predictive market, like you said, like it generally starts flexing before the Fed's cut. In this particular case, do you see something where the Feds make the decision and there's a reactive market to that? Or is that just kind of like if it didn't happen prior to the Feds making that choice, it's not going to happen?
Yeah. So
Like
usually,
obviously rates fluctuate no matter what the Feds do, but
right.
like you said, you usually they're factored into what the Feds, are going to do. And it hasn't happened this time. Is it something that could
Right.
happen post decision?
Yes. Yes, it could. And usually what ends up moving the rates one way or the other after the announcement is what is said in the announcement. So
Okay.
a lot of times the market tends to overprice thinking, oh, the Fed's going to come out and say, hey, we might have to do this again, which I don't know why they
Yeah.
never do that. But if when the announcement is made and there are things that are said in there that are like, this is really starting to become a problem, we need to be getting more aggressive, then that's usually when the rate market will start to change after the fact. But if there's things that are said during the announcement that are kind of like, we're going to drop here, but we're going to kind of just have to wait and see what's going on. We're not in a position where we feel like we need to keep dropping. That's when the market usually starts to go backwards and we lose this ground, which is what we've seen a lot lately when the Fed's dropped rates. Mortgage rates have actually increased after the announcement.
Yeah.
They improved leading up to it. So by the time it's all said
Yeah.
and done, you're kind of back to where you were before the improvement. So that's kind of what I'm hoping. I'm seeing a lot of stuff out there too, which I'm not even gonna I don't know if it's credible sources or not. It's probably just a lot of like wishful thinking. But I have been seeing stuff that's talking about the Fed really starting to dump money back into the market, which would artificially, whatever you want to call it, lower rates, which is essentially what happened during COVID,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas like they just cranked money into there like crazy to keep everything affordable, keep it low, to keep the economy going. So I think that's kind of where things are starting to potentially head, is that if the Fed feels like this is what is needed to be done, because December 1st, I believe it was, I could double check, but I want to say that was the end of their quantitative tightening, which just means that now they can be a little more aggressive on, if they feel the need to start pouring money back into that, to lowering rates. So
Hmm.
there's like quantitative tightening and then quantitative easing. So they're like easing. So they're kind of in the middle. I guess it just maybe frees them up to say, hey, all right, now we're going to jump in and we're going to start moving the market. We've passed our time of what we feel like we need to do to really try to keep rates where they're at, to fight inflation. Now maybe we're in a position where we can start like really making a big impact. So I could see that potentially happening, just to start to bring the affordability back more,
Yeah.
because whoever's investing in the market right now is not investing enough to drive the long-term rates down. So if
Yeah.
the Fed can get involved and say, "Hey, look, we're trying everything we can. Now we need to just start cranking money into this thing and bringing rates down because it's our only option left."
That's like, doesn't like it puts a band-aid on it, right? But it doesn't
Absolutely.
like it's like
Yeah.
throwing money we don't have at something might not be the
Yes.
smartest move, but
No. And that's
who says our
that's
politicians were making the smartest moves? So,
right.
ever.
And I think that's the big concern, right? Is that, yes, it would be nice. Everybody would love it. Does it just throw a band-aid on things? Does it cause more problems in 2 years? We get a
Yeah,
little quick
yeah.
fix here for a couple
Just kick
years,
it down the road.
and then yes, and then we're okay, now what?
Yeah,
Because all that's really doing is just helping the affordability piece, but what about the economy? You know, if
yeah,
that's going downhill more and more, it's just, I mean, who knows? It's honestly the most I've ever paid attention to the economy and politics and the rate market
yeah.
in my life, because I feel like it's the most applicable and it's the most like glaring thing for
Yeah,
me.
and it's
Prior
been
to
so
that, it was just,
unpredictable.
yeah, it has. It's been really unpredictable. So now
So,
it's like, oh, I guess this does make sense, because for the longest time it was just rates are
yeah,
rates and they don't really move a
that's
whole
what it
lot and
was,
doesn't
yeah,
change a whole lot
for sure.
and whatever. It's
Yeah, we're in a whole new world.
yeah.
Well, before I let you go, do you have any I'm putting you on the spot with predictions. Isn't, Jerome Powell leaving? So,
Yes.
is there any talk of who might be his replacement?
Yes, but I don't know anything official. I've seen
Okay.
stuff thrown out there, and if I could remember their names, I would say them, but I can't I can't remember. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, I do have a good feeling that, like we just talked about, maybe it is a Band-Aid or not, but I do have a good feeling that whoever is put in that position, I don't know if it'll happen right away, but I do think there will be some aggressive stance from them on, we need to get things affordable again,
yeah, yeah.
and maybe moving things quickly. Whether it's too quick or not, I do think that there's a good chance that, you know, next
Okay.
year at this time we're having a conversation of like, wow, I can't believe that, we improved this much
Yeah.
with rates. And whether that changes the market or not, I don't know, but I would not be surprised, because I think we're starting to get to that like breaking point for just housing affordability.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
bringing down the rates will make it cheaper for people to buy, which means it will naturally push the rent prices down, which is a win-win. But right now, you've got it's expensive to buy, so people that aren't buying have to go rent, and there's more rent demand, and landlords crank up the rent more. So it's like you're kind of in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think real estate's predicting the same thing. NAR is predicting that the market's gonna improve fairly significantly in 2026,
Okay,
but who knows?
I know, I know.
I'll
Are you
believe it when
closing
I
any
see it.
houses on Christmas Eve?
Not on Christmas Eve. We closed one this week. We just got under contract with another one. So people are still looking, you know. I think we're mainly just planning for we have a few listings coming up like kind of 1st of January. Like everyone's getting through this
Okay,
season. And then, the buyers or sellers that are like needing to go are ready to go in January. So there's some pretty good deals in January for buyers and sellers. It's a decent market. I think people underestimate it, in my opinion. I think December comes, everyone settles down towards these last couple of weeks. Yeah, everyone settles down. No one's active. Like I still have buyers actively looking, but they're not gonna they're probably not going to pull the trigger anytime soon. But then,
Yeah.
once January hits and everyone kind of clears up all their Christmas holiday stuff, they're like, let's go.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
if they had been looking for a while. Um, so what we're
Yeah.
doing is like prepping a lot of our spring and early spring sellers, like getting them kind of prepped, having meetings of like, here's how we need to get things show ready. Here's how we need to, what the process
Mhm.
is, so that when you do decide to go, it's like we can get set up for the right thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
so that's that, man.
I love it.
Well, if you guys are still paying attention, head to our podcast, Venture with Joe and Cody. Learn about real estate, our personal lives, everything else we
Whatever.
want to talk about. It's our
Yeah.
podcast, so we talk about whatever we want. So
Yeah, we're
if you want to
grown-ups.
be a part of that, then do it. If you want to be a guest, we haven't had a guest in a long time, but if you want to be a guest on the podcast, please join us, because we'd love to chat with other people, hear other people's voices than ours. So, but until then, my man, we'll talk to you next week.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay, see ya.
All right, bye.